Hey guys, and welcome back to another review video. And today this is my Christmas gift for you because I know you've been eagerly awaiting my take on this product. I am of course talking about the Mizuno GX Sonic 5 MR that I have here. I'm super excited to have it. I'm super excited to be talking about it, and I hope you enjoy it on this this very weird Christmas day. And maybe I'm not the only person that's sitting here on Christmas holding a Mizuno. Maybe you was lucky and you got a Christmas present from someone that is a Mizuno or any swimming related sort of product. And if so, let me know in the comments what you got for Christmas, because I would love to know. And if you want to give me something back for Christmas, then like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on. It really would mean a lot. So the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to the Mizuno GX Sonic 5 MR is that availability is increasing. They now have distributors for this suit in both Canada and Australia, and while we still aren't going to be catered for here in the EU, it is nice to see that we are getting more worldwide availability. I was sorted out this review sample from the guys at Mizuno USA, and I would urge you that if you are going to buy a Mizuno suit, do it through them. They're super helpful guys, and this suit will cost $380 US in one of the two colorways, either the standard one that is worldwide and is super cool, I'm holding it up here, have a little look, or in the all black version that is only through the American retailer and was made specifically for the ISL who wanted all black suits. Now obviously this isn't the first time I've spoke about Mizuno suit on this channel. In fact, the very first video I ever made was of the Mizuno GX Sonic 3 ST that I have here, and as you can see, I've got a few Mizuno suits behind me and I have reviewed all of them on the channel. But today we're looking at the newest iteration, and that is the GX Sonic 5 that was released in 2020 and is obviously the follow-up from the extremely popular 3 and 4 models. Now, if you wasn't aware, all Mizuno suits have two personalities. They have an MR multi-racer and an ST sprinter. And being a self-proclaimed sprinter, I do generally prefer the ST iterations of the suit. But that being said, if you look at the world stage, you see a lot of sprinters preferring the MR version, and guys that you probably would think would wear an MR wearing the sprinter. If you are fortunate enough to try both, you can make your own mind up. With that being said, it is weird that I'm checking out the MR version before I'm checking out the ST version. And you know this is the MR because the logo is white. On the ST version, the logo will be a neon yellow. But it just so happened that Mizuno had availability of the MR before they had the ST in stock. So I got an MR first, and this is the only version of the 5 I've tried as of yet, which is why I'm going to be bringing a review of this version before I bring you a review of the ST. Hopefully when I get to try it, which should be in the near future, especially if the Olympic trials are able to go ahead. The first thing I probably should talk about is what's new in the 5 over previous models, because for the most part the suit has a lot of the same DNA, the same genetics, and it just has some small refinements. We saw small improvements from the 4 over the 3, and we're going to be doing so again with the 5 over the 4. Now the 5 actually has new materials in use, and the back material has always been a Ribtex, and this is now the Sonic Ribtex Underwater, or UW. And at the front we now have the Sonic Light P UW. Now the UW just stands for a new treatment, as far as I'm concerned, that these suits have, and that's a better water repellency treatment. And when you actually feel the suit, it feels almost waxy. It is a more water repellent suit, there's no doubt about it. This comes out of the water after you've worn it, and it dries quicker, and it feels better in the water because of that. So great work in terms of that. And the front material, it's always been a Sonic Light, which is the more traditional material at the front of the suit. But the Sonic Light P is actually slightly different to the Sonic Light S, which the women's suit has. And that's because they say the women's suit is more delicate, and the men's suit, the P material, is a little bit tenser and holds you in place more. And I think that's just from feedback that men prefer a more compressive suit. There's no surprise there. The next major difference would be the seams in use, and it's no closely guarded secret that the biggest area of failure with Mizuno suits is on the inner thigh seam. I've had two suits that have ripped here, two GX Sonic 3s that have ripped here, and I know a lot of other people that have also had suits ripped. And I think they made some small improvements on the 4, But with the 5, the seam seems absolutely reinvented. It's very thick, very robust, and I have so much more confidence when putting this on. It's not going to rip. Honestly, it feels like an absolutely different beast, and I really do think the longevity of this Mizuno suit is going to be miles better than those in the past. And what I will say about those in the past is, unless they rip, their performance stayed amazing for a long time. It was only if they did unfortunately rip that, well, you couldn't use them. But while they were intact, and their performance stayed awesome for a lot longer than their competitors such as Speedo or Arena in that regard. The other most obvious difference is obviously aesthetically, the new colorway, and I loved all the 3 colorways I had, but I generally didn't like the 4 at all. But the 5 is awesome. I love this design. I love the look they've got going on the back. I love the neon sort of bright blue drawstrings. Everything is super cool looking about this suit, and I also love the all black version. I'll talk more about that when I do review the all black 5 ST that I have. The next thing I want to talk about is the evolution of the MRs, because with the STs, they kept the same idea and they just got better as they went from 3 to 4 to 5. But with the 3, the original 3 had the most dual layering and didn't have any hamstring taping, so it was the most buoyant and compressive but didn't have any upkick support. But the thing is, they wanted it to be a sort of long distance suit, and that's really not what the original 3MR was. It was mainly used for 100s and 200s and was extremely popular with the likes of 200 freestylers, 200 of form, and even 100 swimmers. So when they made the 4MR, they completely changed it. They gave it the same hamstring taping as the ST version, which is that new Sonic Line X taping that these suits have, but just removed some of the dual layering to make it the least compressive and buoyant suit of the range. And they were hoping in doing so that more distance athletes would start to want to wear this suit. So for people that come to me going, I love the 3MR, should I get a 5MR? I generally say, you might still really like the 5MR, but don't think it's the same thing as the 3MR, just with the better refinements that I've already talked about in this video. So with that in mind, the overall experience of this suit was fantastic. Now, I do have to talk about how this was the hardest Mizuno I've yet had to put on. The first time I tried putting it on, I actually had to give up after 20 minutes. Luckily it stretched, and a few days later, I did manage to get it on. So if you are buying one of these, don't wait for the meet to put it on. Put it on beforehand, make sure it fits, because you will be suffering if you're slightly damp, slightly wet in a cubicle changing room trying to get this on. You will struggle. But once you do get it on, it feels great. I hadn't ever tried the 4MR, so this was the first time I tried a Mizuno with that less amount of dual layering. And when I talk about dual layering, I'm talking about inside the suit here. Normally the entire back part is dual layered, but you can see here at the bottom where you can see that back with that Rubtex material, that is just single layered, and that means we get a little bit less compression. But as we can see, we still have that Sonic Line X taping at the back, which provides that awesome upkick support. The upkick support, you really do feel paid dividends when you're in the underwater phase and at the end of 100 when you're starting to struggle. But I did find the lack of compression compared to other Mizunos quite evident in the end of my 100 free, when I would like a slightly more compressive fit. And I'm super excited to try the ST for that exact reason. Being completely honest, I don't think the MR version is my recommendation for long distance freestyle. So even though they have tried to go down that avenue, I still think this is a suit really you want to be keeping for 400 and less, because it is still very compressing. So when I'm saying I prefer the compression of the ST, that's just because it is literally the most compressing suit on the market, and that's what I love in my personal opinion. This is a reduced compression rate, and I do think if you're a little bit scared of the compression of the ST, this is a great introduction. But I still think if you're swimming 1500, I'm never going to swim one again. But if you are, then you might find it to be a little bit mentally fatiguing wearing something so tight for so long. Obviously, the reason we have a compression suit is basically it helps oxygenate your muscle and basically provides relief from lactic acid buildup. So it does make sense to have something compressive. It's just I think people do get mentally fatigued wearing it more so than actually physically fatigued, because it should do the opposite. That's why I mentioned that, and I just wanted to clarify what I meant by that. Overall, I've loved this as much as I've loved a lot of Mizuno suits. The new design, the new colorway, excellent. The more robust seams, awesome. The level of water repellency is really, really increasing. You feel that both in and out the water. And, you know, don't take anything else from this video, but the Mizuno line, the Mizuno GX Sonic line of suits are the best in the world. These are the fastest suits that I think in almost all circumstances you should be wearing. As I said, maybe if you're a 1500 swimmer, maybe look for something a little bit more breathable, but for the most part, these are what you should be wearing. And the 5, from what I've seen of both feeling and holding the ST version and racing in the MR version, is the best iteration of it yet to date. That's not to say that if you really like the 3 or really like the 4, that you're going to be getting miles and miles more mileage from wearing these. They're all great. Like, I would still happily wear a 3. I know in the most popular sizes, such as the medium I wear, the 3s are pretty much out of stock everywhere in the world, and the 5 isn't really much more expensive than the 4. So for that reason, I would say treat yourself. Get the 5, it looks better, will probably last you longer, and it's not much more expensive. And compared to the other competition, such as Speedo and Arena and Tier, where I do prefer this suit, it's probably cheaper as well. $380 US from direct from Mizuno USA. I don't think you can go wrong. Anyhow, I hope you have a lovely Christmas. Again, let me know in the comments what you got through for Christmas. I really would like to know. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, I'll see you on the next video.